Today, I want to talk about something many of us have felt, but not many of us say out loud. It is that quiet feeling you carry with you at the end of the workday. The feeling that no matter how hard you try, no matter how careful you are, no matter how much you improve, your boss never seems satisfied. Maybe you finished your task early. Maybe you stayed late. Maybe you checked every detail 3 times. And still, the feedback was short, cold, or silent. If this sounds familiar, you are not alone. I am very glad you are here with me today. This is not just an English lesson. This is a small space to breathe, to listen, and to understand yourself a little better through language. When I was younger, I had a job in a small office. It was not an important job, but to me, it was everything. Every morning, I arrived early. I cleaned my desk. I prepared my notes. I wanted to be perfect. My manager was a quiet man. He rarely smiled. He rarely said thank you. Most days, he only said one sentence. This is not good enough. Not angry. Not loud. Just calm. And that somehow hurt more. At first, I told myself, he is strict. He wants me to grow. This is good for me. So I worked harder. I stayed later. I stopped having lunch with my friends. I checked every email again and again. But the sentence did not change. This is not good enough. One afternoon, I remember very clearly. I was sitting alone in the office. The lights were already off in other rooms. Outside, it was raining. Soft rain. The kind of rain that makes everything feel slow. I looked at my screen, and I felt very tired. Not only in my body, but in my heart. I thought, maybe I am not good enough. Maybe I will never be good enough. And this is where language becomes very important. Because the sentences we say to ourselves are often stronger than the sentences other people say to us. So today, I want to talk about a few simple expressions. Not difficult, not academic, but very human. The first one is this. I did my best. Repeat after me. I did my best. Try saying it slowly. I did my best. This sentence is not about success. It is about honesty. It is about effort. Sometimes your boss will not see your effort. Sometimes your boss will only see the result. But you know your effort. You know how much you tried. And that matters. Let me tell you another small story. A few years later, I had a different job. A different manager. She was very energetic, very fast, always moving. And she wanted everything immediately. If I finished one task, she gave me 3 more. If I solved one problem, she found another. Again, I felt that same feeling. Running! Always running, never arriving. One day, she said to me, Thomas, you need to be more proactive. I did not understand this word at first. Proactive. So I went home and I looked it up. Proactive means to act before someone asks you, to move before you are pushed. It sounds positive, but in my heart, I felt something different. I felt pressure, so I learned another sentence, a very important one. I am still learning. Repeat after me. I am still learning. Say it again. I am still learning. This sentence gives you time. It gives you space. It reminds you that you are not a finished product. Not in English, not at work, not in life. Sometimes bosses forget this. Sometimes systems forget this. But you should not forget this. Now, I want you to think about your own situation. Maybe your boss corrects you in front of others. Maybe your boss only speaks when something is wrong. Maybe your boss compares you to other people, quietly or directly. If you feel comfortable, say this sentence. My feelings are real. Repeat after me. My feelings are real. Again, my feelings are real. You do not need to be dramatic. You do not need to complain. But you are allowed to feel tired. You are allowed to feel disappointed. You are allowed to feel confused. This does not make you weak. It makes you human. Let me describe a small moment, a very ordinary moment. One morning, I was standing in front of the mirror, tying my tie, looking at my face, and I noticed something. I was already tense before the day even began. My shoulders were high, my jaw was tight, my breath was short, so I said quietly to myself, "Today, I will go slowly. Repeat after me. Today, I will go slowly." This sentence changed my day. Not me, boss, not my job, but my inner rhythm. And sometimes, that is the only thing we can change. When your boss is never satisfied, you may start to believe that nothing you do is enough. But let me tell you something gently. A boss's dissatisfaction is not always a measure of your value. Sometimes it is their personality. Sometimes it is their fear. Sometimes it is the system above them. And sometimes they simply do not know how to encourage. So here is another sentence, a very soft one. I am more than my work. Repeat after me. I am more than my work. Say it again. I am more than my work. You are a person before you are an employee. You are a life before you are a role. You have thoughts, dreams, a family, a history, and your job is only one part of your story. Let me share one last memory. Before I left that first job, my quiet manager called me into his office. I was nervous. I thought I had done something wrong. He looked at me and he said, "You improved a lot." Only that. 5 words. You improved a lot. No smile, no speech. But for me, it was like a door opening. All those months, all that effort, he had seen it. He had just never said it. And in that moment, I learned something important. Sometimes feedback comes very late. Sometimes it never comes. And that is why you must learn to give feedback to yourself. So today, before we finish, I want you to practice 3 sentences. Listen carefully. Repeat slowly. First, I am doing my best. Now you. Second, I am still learning. Now you. Third, I trust my own growth. Repeat, I trust my own growth. When we talk about work, we are not just practicing vocabulary. We are practicing self-respect. When we describe our day, we are not just using past tense. We are understanding our emotions. And when we speak about our difficulties, we are not being negative. We are being honest. Maybe your boss will change. Maybe your job will change. Maybe you will change. But what matters is that you keep your inner voice kind, clear, and patient. You are not just learning English. You are learning how to stand quietly in difficult places, how to speak gently to yourself, how to continue, even when praise is rare. Sometimes, after a difficult day at work, I like to walk slowly home, not to listen to music, not to check my phone, just to walk, to feel the ground, to let my thoughts move at their own speed. And in those walks, I often think about one simple question. What do I really need right now? Not what my boss needs, not what my company needs. What do I need? Very often, the answer is not big. It is something small. Rest, silence, kindness, and sometimes just a few honest words. So let me give you a few more sentences today. Sentences you can use inside yourself. The first one is this. I am allowed to make mistakes. Repeat after me. I am allowed to make mistakes. Say it again. I am allowed to make mistakes. Many people who work under strict bosses become afraid of mistakes. They become careful, too careful. They stop trying new things. They stop asking questions. They stop growing. But mistakes are not the enemy of progress. They are the beginning of progress. When you say, I am allowed to make mistakes, you give yourself permission to learn. Now, imagine a normal work day. You open your email. You see a short message from your boss. Only one sentence. This needs to be improved. Your heart becomes tight. Your stomach becomes heavy. Before you answer, try saying this quietly. I will respond calmly. Repeat after me. I will respond calmly. Again, I will respond calmly. This sentence does not change the situation, but it changes your posture inside the situation. You breathe first. You read again. You choose your words. And this is a very important skill in both English and life. Responding calmly, not quickly, not emotionally, calmly. Let me tell you about a student I once had. She worked in a large company. Her boss was very demanding. Every report came back with red comments. Every presentation ended with criticism. One day, she said to me, "Thomas, I feel invisible." Invisible. That is a very strong word. So we practiced a sentence together. A very simple one. I would like some feedback on my progress. Repeat after me. I would like some feedback on my progress. This sentence is polite, clear, professional, and brave. Because sometimes when people never say good things, it is not because there are no good things. It is because no one asks. And asking is not weakness. It is communication. Now, I want you to imagine a conversation. Your boss says, "This is not what I wanted." You feel small. You feel wrong. Before you answer, try this sentence. Can you tell me what you would like to change? Repeat after me. Can you tell me what you would like to change? This sentence is very powerful because it moves the situation from judgment to clarity, from emotion to information, from silence to dialogue. You are not defending yourself. You are learning. And this is how language protects you. Not with anger, not with excuses, with calm questions. I remember one time, I finally asked my quiet manager something. I said, "Is there something specific I should improve?" My voice was soft, but my heart was strong. He looked surprised. Then he said, "Yes, your structure is better now, but your explanations are still unclear." For the first time, I understood, not just that I was not good enough, but how I could become better. And this is a very important difference. Now, I want to talk about another feeling, a very common one. Comparison. You look at your colleagues. They speak better. They work faster. They are praised more. And you think, why not me? So here is another sentence. Everyone has a different path. Repeat after me. Everyone has a different path. Say it again. Everyone has a different path. Some people grow quickly. Some people grow slowly. Some people grow quietly. But growth is not a race. It is a direction. And as long as you are moving, you are not lost. Let me describe another small moment. One evening, I was writing lesson plans at home. I felt tired. I felt behind. I felt that I was not good enough as a teacher. So I wrote one sentence on a piece of paper, and I kept it on my desk. It said, "Progress is not always visible." Repeat after me. Progress is not always visible. This sentence helped me on many difficult days, because sometimes you are improving in ways that no one can see. Your patience, your clarity, your confidence, and these things take time. Now, let us practice speaking about feelings in a simple way. Repeat after me. I feel under pressure. Say it slowly. I feel under pressure. Again, I feel under pressure. Another one. I am trying to improve. Repeat. I am trying to improve. And one more. I would like to do better. Repeat. I would like to do better. These sentences are not complaints. They are bridges. Between you and your boss, between you and your team, between you and yourself. Sometimes your boss will listen. Sometimes they will not. But when you speak clearly, you respect yourself. And that is always valuable. Let me share something honest with you. Even now, as a teacher, as Thomas, I still sometimes feel that I am not enough. I still sometimes receive criticism. I still sometimes doubt myself. And in those moments, I say this, I am growing at my own speed. Repeat after me. I am growing at my own speed. This sentence is very gentle. It does not push you. It does not judge you. It simply allows you to continue. When your boss is never satisfied, you may think that satisfaction is the goal. But maybe the real goal is balance. To work seriously, but not to lose yourself. To improve, but not to destroy your confidence. To listen, but not to disappear. So here is another sentence. I deserve respect. Repeat after me. I deserve respect. Say it again. I deserve respect. This does not mean you are perfect. It means you are a person, and respect is not a reward. It is a foundation. Now, imagine it is the end of the day. You close your computer. You stand up. Before you leave, say this quietly. Today, I learned something. Repeat after me. Today, I learned something, because even on the hardest days, there is always learning about language, about work, about people, about yourself. And learning is never wasted. Sometimes the most important improvement is invisible. You become calmer, you become clearer, you become stronger inside, even if no one says thank you, even if no one notices. So before we end, I want to leave you with one last sentence. A sentence you can carry with you. Repeat after me. I trust myself to continue. Say it again. I trust myself to continue. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to be praised every day. You only need to continue. With honesty, with patience, with a kind voice inside. When we talk about difficult bosses, we are not just learning workplace English. We are learning how to protect our inner life, how to speak without fear, how to remain ourselves in systems that sometimes forget humanity. You are not alone in this. Many people around the world feel exactly what you feel. And today, through these words, you are connected to them. Quietly, gently, sometimes. Late at night, when the house is quiet and the world feels far away, I sit with a cup of warm tea and think about the people who listen to this voice. I imagine you. Maybe you are sitting on a bus. Maybe you are lying in bed after a long day. Maybe you are listening while preparing for tomorrow. And I wonder what kind of day you had. Not the official story, not the version you tell your colleagues, but the real one, the one you carry inside. There is a special kind of tiredness that comes from trying to please someone who is never satisfied. It is not the tiredness of the body, it is the tiredness of the spirit. You wake up already thinking, what will I do wrong today? You go to sleep already thinking, what did I forget today? So let me say something very clearly. This kind of tiredness deserves care, not judgment, not silence. Care. Here is a sentence you can say to yourself at the end of the day. I did enough for today. Repeat after me. I did enough for today. Say it slowly. I did enough for today. This sentence does not mean you were perfect. It means the day is finished and you are allowed to rest. Let me tell you about a moment that changed me. One evening, after another difficult day, I met an old teacher of mine. He was already retired. We sat in a small cafe. He asked me, "How is your work?" And for the first time, I did not say, "Fine." I said, "I am tired of trying to be good all the time." He listened. He nodded. And then he said something I never forgot. "Thomas, improvement without kindness becomes punishment. Improvement without kindness becomes punishment." This sentence stayed with me for many years, because many bosses want improvement, many systems want results, but very few talk about kindness. So today, I want to teach you a very important expression, one that is not often taught in textbooks. Be gentle with yourself. Repeat after me. Be gentle with yourself. Again, be gentle with yourself. This is not lazy. This is intelligent. Because people who are too hard on themselves often break quietly, slowly, without anyone noticing. Now, I want you to imagine a normal meeting. Your boss speaks. You listen. You take notes. Inside, you feel nervous. So before the meeting, try this sentence. I will listen carefully. Repeat after me. I will listen carefully. Listening is not passive. It is active. It is strong. It is a way to learn without fighting. And after the meeting, when you feel confused, try this. I need some time to think about this. Repeat. I need some time to think about this. This sentence protects you from rushing, from promising too much, from making mistakes because of pressure. Let me tell you another story. A small one. I once had a colleague who never spoke in meetings. Never. After 1 year, our manager said, "And why are you so quiet?" And my colleague answered, very simply, "I am thinking in another language." That sentence was very honest, very brave, and very true. If you are working in English, if English is not your first language, your work is already harder. You are not only thinking about ideas, you are thinking about words, about grammar, about pronunciation. So here is another sentence for you. I am working in a second language. Repeat after me. I am working in a second language. This is not an excuse. This is a fact, and it deserves respect. Sometimes, when your boss corrects your English, you may feel ashamed. So say this quietly. My English is improving every day. Repeat. My English is improving every day. Because language grows slowly, like a tree, not like a machine. Now, let us talk about silence. There is a special kind of silence in offices. The silence after criticism. The silence when no one answers your email. The silence when your effort is not mentioned. In that silence, many people lose confidence. So here is another sentence. My work has value. Repeat after me. My work has value. Say it again. My work has value. Even if no one says it. Even if no one notices. Value does not disappear because it is not spoken. Let me describe a morning. I wake up. The sky is gray. I do not want to go to work. My mind is already heavy. So I sit on the bed and say this. One step at a time. Repeat after me. One step at a time. This sentence is very small, but it can carry you through very big days. You do not need to solve your whole career today. You only need to answer one email, finish one task, have one honest conversation, one step at a time. Now, I want to talk about anger. A quiet anger, the kind you never show, the kind you carry home. If you feel angry, say this. I am feeling frustrated. Repeat. I am feeling frustrated. Naming a feeling makes it smaller, clearer, safer. And another one. I need a break. Repeat. I need a break. This sentence is not weakness. It is responsibility. Because tired people make mistakes, and broken people cannot improve. Let me share something very personal. There was a time when I thought about leaving my job. Not because I hated the work, but because I hated myself at work. I became someone I did not like. Silent, afraid, always apologizing. And one day, I asked myself a very important question. What kind of person do I want to be here? Not what kind of worker. What kind of person? So here is another sentence. I want to work with dignity. Repeat after me. I want to work with dignity. Dignity means self-respect. It means you try, you listen, you improve, but you do not disappear. Now, imagine you make a mistake, a real mistake. Your boss is unhappy. Before you speak, say this. I take responsibility for this. Repeat. I take responsibility for this. This sentence is strong because responsibility is not shame. It is maturity. And then you can say, I will fix it. Repeat. I will fix it. These two sentences together build trust, even with difficult people. Now, I want you to imagine the future. Not tomorrow. Not next week. 1 year from now, you are stronger, calmer, more confident. So say this. I am becoming better. Repeat after me. I am becoming better. Becoming is a beautiful word. It means you are on the way, not finished, but moving, and movement is life. When your boss is never satisfied, you may start to believe that satisfaction is impossible. But maybe satisfaction is not something you receive. Maybe it is something you build inside, with small sentences, small habits, small acts of courage. Let me give you a very quiet practice. Tonight, before you sleep, say 3 things. First, one thing I did well today. Second, one thing I learned today. Third, one thing I will forgive myself for today. You do not need to write. You do not need to tell anyone. Just say them quietly, because self-forgiveness is one of the most important skills in any language and in any life. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to grow. Slowly, honestly, with mistakes, with effort, with a voice that becomes clearer every day. When we speak about work, we are not only learning business English, we are learning how to survive gently in difficult systems, how to protect our confidence, how to remain human. You are not weak because you care. You are not slow because you are careful. You are not failing because someone is difficult. You are learning. You are adapting. You are becoming. And that is enough for today. There is something very quiet that happens when we accept that some people may never be satisfied. Not loudly, not suddenly, but slowly. We stop fighting the impossible. We stop trying to fill a cup that has no bottom, and we begin to ask a different question. Not, how can I make my boss happy? But, how can I stay whole? Let me tell you about another season of my life. A time when I was working very hard, but inside, I felt empty. Every week there was a meeting. Every week there was criticism. And every week, I went home thinking about all the things I should have said, all the things I should have done. One night, I opened an old notebook. Inside, I found something I had written many years before. A simple sentence. I do not need to prove my worth every day. Repeat after me. I do not need to prove my worth every day. Say it again. I do not need to prove my worth every day. This sentence is very important because many people who work under strict bosses live in a courtroom. Every day is a trial. Every task is evidence. Every mistake is a crime. But life is not a courtroom. And you are not on trial. You are a person doing your best in imperfect conditions. Now, let me talk about another feeling. Fear, not big fear, small fear. The fear of speaking. The fear of asking. The fear of making a mistake. If you feel this, try this sentence. I am allowed to ask questions. Repeat after me. I am allowed to ask questions. Questions are not signs of weakness. They are signs of thinking. And another one, I do not understand yet. Repeat. I do not understand yet. The word yet is very powerful. It means the story is not finished. Not in English. Not in your job. Not in your life. Let me describe a moment in a meeting. Someone explains something. You do not understand. Everyone is quiet. So you say nothing. Later, you make a mistake, and you blame yourself. So here is a better sentence. Could you explain that one more time? Repeat after me. Could you explain that one more time? This sentence protects you from future mistakes, from silent confusion, from unnecessary shame. Now, I want to talk about a very delicate topic. Self-talk, the voice inside your head. When your boss is never satisfied, that voice often becomes very strict. You are not good enough. You are too slow. You will fail. So here is a very important sentence. So, I am speaking kindly to myself. Repeat after me. I am speaking kindly to myself. You may not believe it at first. That is normal. Kindness is a skill. It must be practiced every day. Let me share a small habit. When I finish a difficult task, I say one sentence. Well done for trying. Repeat after me. Well done for trying. Not for succeeding, not for being perfect, for trying. Because effort is always worthy of respect. Now, imagine a very difficult day. Your boss is unhappy. A client is angry. You feel overwhelmed. Before you go to sleep, say this. Tomorrow is a new day. Repeat after me. Tomorrow is a new day. This sentence is simple, but it reminds you that one day does not define your life. One mistake does not define your career. One person does not define your value. Let me talk about something many people never say. Sometimes the problem is not you. Sometimes the problem is the environment, a culture of fear, a culture of pressure, a culture without praise. And here is a sentence for that situation. This place does not define me. Repeat after me. This place does not define me. You are bigger than one office, one company, one boss. Your life is wider than your job. Now, I want you to imagine a future conversation. You speak more clearly, more calmly, more confidently. So say this. I am learning to speak with confidence. Repeat after me. I am learning to speak with confidence. Confidence does not come from praise. It comes from practice, from small, brave moments, from speaking even when your voice is soft. Let me tell you something honest. Some bosses will never change, no matter how good you become, no matter how hard you work, and in that case, you may need to make a difficult decision. Not today, not tomorrow, but one day, a decision about your own future. So here is another sentence. I deserve a healthy workplace. Repeat after me. I deserve a healthy workplace. This is not a dream. This is a right. A place where you can grow without fear, where you can make mistakes without humiliation, where you can improve without losing yourself. Now, let us practice speaking about limits. A very important skill. Repeat after me.
I need more time.
Again, I need more time. Another one, I cannot do this alone. Repeat, I cannot do this alone. And one more, I will do this step by step. Repeat, I will do this step by step. These sentences build boundaries. Quietly, respectfully, firmly. Let me describe one last image. It is evening. You leave the office. The door closes behind you. For a moment, you stand still. And you say this. Work is finished for today. Repeat after me. Work is finished for today. This sentence gives you back your evening, your family, your rest, your life, because you are not a machine. You are a human being, with limits, with feelings, with dreams. When your boss is never satisfied, you may think that you must become harder, stronger, colder. But maybe the real strength is to remain gentle, to continue without bitterness, to improve without hating yourself, to speak without fear, to rest without guilt. You are not behind. You are on your own path. You are not failing. You are learning. You are not weak. You are tired, and tired people need rest, not punishment. So tonight, wherever you are, say one last sentence with me. I am enough for today. Repeat after me. I am enough for today. Again, I am enough for today. This is not the end of your growth. It is the beginning of your peace. There is a moment, very small, that often happens between the end of work and the beginning of the rest of your life. It may be when you turn off your computer, when you leave the building, when you take off your shoes, when you finally sit down. In that moment, many people continue working inside their mind. They repeat conversations. They remember mistakes. They imagine tomorrow, and they forget that this moment is theirs. So I want to give you a sentence for that moment, a sentence to close the door of the day. Repeat after me. I am allowed to rest now. Say it slowly. I am allowed to rest now. This sentence is very gentle, but very powerful, because rest is not a reward. It is a need. Let me tell you something very honest. For a long time, I believed that if I worked harder, everything would become easier. But I learned something different. If you work without caring for yourself, everything becomes heavier. So I learned to create small rituals, not big changes, small ones. When I finish work, I wash my hands slowly. I feel the water. I breathe. And I say this: the day is changing. Repeat after me. The day is changing. This sentence reminds you that you are moving from one world to another, from work to life, from pressure to presence. Now, I want to talk about hope, not loud hope, quiet hope, the kind that stays with you even on difficult days. So here is a sentence for hope. I am building a better future. Repeat after me. I am building a better future. Building is slow, brick by brick, day by day, mistake by mistake. But if you continue, something will grow. Let me describe a memory. Years ago, I met a former colleague. We had both left a difficult workplace. We talked about those days, about the stress, about the fear. And then he said something very simple. I am glad I survived that. Survived, not succeeded, not won, survived. Sometimes, survival is already a victory. So here is another sentence. I am stronger than I think. Repeat after me. I am stronger than I think. You have already passed through many difficult days, many difficult people, many difficult moments, and you are still here, listening, learning, breathing. Now, let us practice speaking about the future in a calm way. Repeat after me. One day, this will be different. Again, one day, this will be different. Not today, not tomorrow, but one day. Change does not need to be fast to be real. Let me talk about patience. Patience with your boss. Patience with your job. But most importantly, patience with yourself. So here is a very important sentence. I give myself time. Repeat after me. I give myself time. Time to learn. Time to grow. Time to heal. Time to decide. You do not need to have all the answers now. You only need to take the next honest step now. Imagine you are speaking to a younger version of yourself. The person who started this job, who wanted to do well, who wanted to be proud. So say this to them: you are doing your best. Repeat after me. You are doing your best. Sometimes we are kinder to others than to ourselves. But you also deserve kind words. Let me share one final thought. Very quiet, very simple. When your boss is never satisfied, you may spend years trying to change yourself. But one day, you may realize something very important. The most important relationship at work is not with your boss. It is with yourself. How you speak to yourself, how you forgive yourself, how you protect yourself, how you encourage yourself. So here is the last sentence I want to leave with you tonight. Repeat after me. I will take care of myself. Say it slowly. I will take care of myself. This is not selfish. This is wise, because people who take care of themselves can continue, can learn, can grow, can change their lives. You are not alone in this journey. Many people around the world are walking the same path, quietly, bravely, with tired hearts and hopeful minds. And today, for a few moments, you walked this path with me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for trusting this voice. Thank you for continuing. And now, as this quiet time together comes to an end, I want you to notice something. You are still here. You stayed. You listened. You breathed. You gave yourself these minutes, and that is not a small thing. In a world that is always asking for more, you chose to pause, to reflect, to listen to your own inner voice in another language. Before we say goodbye, I want to leave you with a very gentle practice. Wherever you are, just for a moment, relax your shoulders, let your breath become slow, and say this quietly. I am here. Repeat after me. I am here. This sentence brings you back to the present, not yesterday, not tomorrow. Here. And then say this. I am safe in this moment. Repeat. I am safe in this moment. Because no matter how difficult your work is, in this moment, you are breathing, you are listening, you are alive, and that is enough. Let me say something from my heart. You do not need to become someone else to deserve respect. You do not need to be perfect to deserve peace. You do not need constant praise to be worthy. You only need to continue with honesty, with patience, with a voice that becomes kinder every day. Your English will improve. Your confidence will grow. Your path will become clearer, slowly, naturally, in your own time. And when tomorrow comes and work begins again, you will not go alone. You will go with these words, with this calm, with this quiet strength inside you. This is English with Thomas. I'm Thomas. Keep speaking, keep growing, and keep trusting yourself.